Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And I've got a fantastic guest for the audience today, Dr. Elizabeth Pritchard from the WALT Institute based in Australia. And she is here to talk to the audience, a lot of the female executives, entrepreneurs interested in business, growing leadership. And she's the one to help us today. So, Elizabeth, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christopher.
Yeah. So briefly, just start out, by introducing what you do, how you got there, and how the audience can benefit from your experience.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. What I do, I coach and train women across the world in relation to strategies that work, that are simple to put in place in relation to authentic leadership. So it's knowing who you are, who you be, and then what you do. Because we're so good at doing and to get the milestones done, to meet our targets, all of that type of thing, that we often forget to take that little step back and that breath to go, who am I being in this moment? So I don't actually do anything now without going, who do I be in this moment? And that's whether I have a courageous conversation with someone, whether I'm looking at landing another collaboration or another organization that I'm going to work with, or whatever it may be. It's like I take that step back and go, who do I be? And within that, all of these things usually come up for people. And it's not just women. We coach and train people all across the world, and in person, online. And when we do that, we often have about 20% of men in the room as well, because they want to be authentic leaders as well. It's just that we have a niche market for women. And so my business partner works even more with men than women. And so coming in and recognizing that authentic leadership is who we be first, and then we look at what we're doing, because we know that leadership is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics or strategy. And so there's a whole lot of programs out there that teach strategy. We teach the psychology of leadership. And the way that people can benefit is they are less stressed, they are more focused, they have these little tiny tweaks. So it's not a massive change, it's these little tiny doable tweaks in their leadership to take them higher and higher and higher and higher every single week that we meet.
Yeah, that's a fantastic introduction. And by your language and your wording, I think you're a product of Tony Robbins, was what it sounds like. And so one thing is talking about is we'll get started is and I love this idea of this check, because I work with, like, breath coach and just kind of like mindfulness, and they're always say, kind of check before everything. Is like, I love you're saying, who do I be? It's like, kind of take a breath, what is your intention, and then put it out there. What are key experiences that have shaped your approach to authentic leadership?
Doing it badly. It was probably the biggest thing that shaped my leadership. I remember when I first began on this journey, and it was sort of nearly 3 decades ago, that I was doing it very badly. And it was like, there must be a better way. And so learning from trial and error, learning from messing it up, learning from, oh, that didn't go down well, or that person's really disengaged, or all of those types of things that happen when you're not actually leading very well and you think you might be. and scrambling to get people on board, and scrambling to get through your to-do list and all of those types of things. And it was that absolute thing of sort of desperation, really. It was like, there has to be a better way to do this. And my business partner is very trained in positive psychology and sports psychology. So that's where it came from before I even sort of touched the stuff of Tony Robbins. And yes, I have done some programs with Tony Robbins, but this is embedded in positive psychology and sports psychology as well. And the authentic leadership comes with that deep-seated knowledge of yourself, that deep-seated knowledge of, what am I focusing on today? And if we focus on being busy. We were doing a program last night with a group of people, and it was like, if you focus on being busy, then what does it do? What does it give you? It gives you all those stress chemicals. It gives you all that chasing the tail feeling. And within that, you often just go into the spiral and keep into the spiral of do, 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 do. And when we change the language, when we choose with a different intention, we call it supercharging your language. We run a program called Supercharge Leadership. And within supercharging your language, and you shift that I have to do list to I get to do, or that word busy to I had such a productive morning this morning. It changes our chemical reactions, and this is the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton and the others. It was like it changes our chemical reactions because our thoughts release a chemical reaction, as you would know. And then that changes the way we feel about things. So therefore, we do things differently. And it's that whole sort of cycle of recognizing that, practicing that. And now that's what I teach because it's so powerful and it changes your life every day. Working with someone the other day, and they said just in one session in 3 days, they just tweaked a little something. It was just a little 1 degree shift. And within 3 days, they were sleeping better. They had less disagreements with their partner, which is a good thing. and they were feeling so much more on top of things, just with a little tiny tweaks. And I think often we think that being successful in the world and doing what we do and being recognized and juggling balls, all of this is just words. It's who are we being on the inside? Are we actually looking after ourselves, understanding ourselves, and being able to regulate? Self-regulation is a huge part of authentic leadership as well going forward.
Yeah, that's a really powerful description. And the other question is, so we got what's interesting is empowerment, and you empower particularly women in leadership. And I think it's kind of redundant to ask, why is it essential to promote various leadership roles globally, DEI, and what unique challenges do female executives face in these positions, and how can they overcome these obstacles?
Yeah, there's researched evidence of what's out there around the gender inequity, the pay inequity. Some people say it's a load of rubbish. Other people say it exists, it's huge. Some people say it's insurmountable. Other people go, this is a challenge, let's go here and let's just make this happen. And so it depends on sort of where you are in your mindset approach. It depends on where you are and your beliefs along the way. But I think the most important thing to recognize is, again, the language we use is what we're focusing on. It's sort of a reflection of what we're focusing on. So if we say there's a glass ceiling and I can't get through it, and all the men do this and all the men don't do that, and it's a patriarchal organization, then that's what we're focusing on. And what we often don't realize is that our little critter brain, our subconscious, is actually going, I have to show the evidence to prove that's true. And so we actually begin to create some of these things within our organizations. Now, I'm not saying there's not a disparity. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is, what can I control? I can't control some of the organizational decisions. I can influence, I can have a say, but I can't control whether they, whoever they are going to listen to what I say. Then I can't control whether they are going to choose this or that, or invest in this or that. And within that, it's like, what can I control? I can control the way I show up. I can control the way I respond. I can control my level of confidence and self-efficacy, my ability to be certain and have clarity with my communication, and to not be afraid to take things head on, and to walk through the fear of things that are unfamiliar, that I've never done before. That's what I can do. And within that, I think we can create a change from within. It has to be a multi-pronged approach, I agree. And I can only control me. And so these are the types of things that I coach and train women executives to recognize what those things are that they can control. And it's all about patterns. We all have patterns. They're all sort of created from all our experiences as a child, the first time we took the lead and somebody said, "You're really bossy." That's what they often say to women, to girls, "You're really bossy." And so we get all these things and beliefs that can trip us up later in life. And that's the beautiful thing of having a coach. I always have a coach, and I just absolutely love it, because I'm talking and I'm sharing stuff and saying, "I think this is the issue," and she'll ask a question and it'll be like, that's it. That's the thought pattern. Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Doesn't mean I'm broken. That's a whole lot of BS. It's the thought pattern that I've got in my life. And then at that moment, when I recognize it and become aware of it, I can go, that no longer serves me. I want to change that. I want to shift that. I want to shift that pattern from here to here. Let's do it. And so that's, I think, what women executives can really step into, that whole side of things. Again, I was talking with somebody early this week, and one of the statements we say is to reclaim your power. You already had it. You had it from when you were born. Absolutely, we all do. And sometimes we've lost it along the way and it's got a bit dusty. And so it's reclaiming your power, not power over people, not that type of power, but power within yourself, and power to work with others in the most amazing way.
Yeah, I really like how you reframing situation. It's kind of like taking back, kind of raising focus and awareness on what you're focusing on, and then kind of reframing it so that you're become more empowered. We I mean, so kind of the next question I have for you is this you've overcome significant adversity in your life, and for all the people, I mean, if nobody's facing hardship or adversity now, they're living in a bubble. And how do you cultivate resilience and maintain a positive mindset, especially when everybody's facing these challenges?
Yeah, one of the things that I choose to do is not get so involved with what's happening in the news and in the world. So I know what's happening, just little snippets, but I don't invest a whole lot of focus in it, because it's tough and it's sad and it's distressing and it's hard and it's horrible and it's negative, and so much negative spin on it. And so one of the things is I limit my exposure to those sorts of things. It's not living in a bubble. It's not pretending it's not there at all, because part of authentic leadership is you absolutely call it as is. You must call it as is to start with, and then you choose your response. And so choosing my response in relation to adversity, and I've been through stuff in my childhood. I've been through stuff in my 20s and 30s. I've been through stuff last year. And, yes, we all have. And I'm not playing those down. What I am doing is I'm going, I choose where I go here. I choose to go from here forward, and that's positive psychology. It's like, from here forward, what can I do? What am I focusing on? Where am I going? And within that, there's things like beyond resilience. And people often talk about resilience as bouncing back. And I'll just do a little visual image. People go, resilience, you bounce back from adversity. I was like, I don't want to bounce back, because it's the same shit, different day, basically. It was like, I want to bounce forward. So we always talk about resilience as bouncing forward to a different place and space, forward with learning, forward to a different environment because we've created it, forward to a different situation with a relationship or a team that you're leading, or an account that you're fostering or growing. And it's like, I want to bounce forward from this. And so I asked myself, what can I learn from this? And within that, there's a whole lot of what is known as psychological terms is mental toughness and grit. Now, I'll let you into a little secret. One of the things I've been doing the last 6 months to build my mental toughness is ice baths. Yes, I get up at crazy hours in the morning and jump in the ice bath, do my Wim Hof breathing. And the reason I do this is for mental toughness, is to build and strengthen my mental toughness muscle, because I used to go, I'm going to do it. And then it was like, oh, but I don't really like that bit. And I was like, oh, but I don't really want to do that. Oh, I don't like this bit. Or, oh, that's unfamiliar, so it's a little bit scary. I'm not sure about that. And so getting in that ice bath, jumping in, breathing twice, going down. I was like, I do it. And it's a crazy thing. But for me, it was like so refreshing because I know that I can do anything. I can go and talk to anybody. I can ask anybody anything. I can work out a way to move through anything. And part of mental toughness and grit is all about your passion and perseverance. And that's the work from Angela Duckworth. Passion and perseverance must come in hand to hand together. And those people who do that and keep going 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 and keep going, that's how you get even stronger resilience and more mental toughness and deeper grit.
Yeah, I love that. And so on the idea of ice baths, I know some people just jump in a cold shower. I know some people have actual physical pools that they cool to like 50 degrees. Some people that you can get it off of Amazon, these you can just basically pour ice into it and just jump in. What do you do? I'm just because I do ice baths too, but I just jump in the shower because it's easier. But I'm just but
I've tried the shower thing. I was like, oh, don't like that. Yeah, so we've got a I think it's called a Nur bath or something. It's just a 38 by 32 or something, sort of insulated sort of bath with stems on the legs and blow up thing around the top. It's all specially designed for it, and we usually have it around 10 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is, Fahrenheit.
yeah, I think it's 40 or I want to say 40 or 50, but I'm not sure. But but it's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold.
Yeah.
And you go in and you just do some certain breathing, and then you go down, and then once your body adapts, which is usually between 45, 60 seconds, then you stay in for 2 minutes, and then you come out and you do some other breathing and some other things as well. And yeah, so I like the actual bath. I find that better than jumping in the shower. I've tried that a couple of times and it was like, nah, I just turned up to hot.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And so, and that was just kind of a side, just I was just curious for my own. So kind of the next question is we talked about resilience and adversity. Talk about creating inclusive team cultures, and there's this new thing like wokeness, DEI, and some people are saying the term's overused, and some people are like equal outcome or equal opportunities, not equal outcomes. What are your thoughts and strategies for leaders to create these inclusive environments in their organizations?
I think it first starts with how you respect each other. And that comes back to how you respect and trust yourself first. So that again comes back to the authentic leadership of who are you being. And within that, I mean, yes, some of the research says that we have to start with quotas, because if you've got a 98% or a 99% male-dominated organisation, where do you start? There is some research around that sort of identifies that quotas are a good place to start. However, that's not the answer. It's not the answer of you must have 12% more females employed by the end of 2024 or whatever. It's not the answer. It can be part of the answer. It's the whole thing of how do you actually work with people, and what is that diversity of thought you're aiming for around the table? I've worked in organisations where they've had people from all different ethnicities, genders, and they think they've got diversity. However, they have not got diversity of thought. And the thought leaders of the world, like Keith Ferrazzi and other people who run amazing businesses and leadership, Simon Sinek, it's that whole thing of what is your diversity of thought that you have around the table? How are you building that team culture? Are you creating conversations with candor, which is psychological safety? Are you creating psychological safety where people can say, regardless of their job title, I think that we're making a mistake. I think we need to go here because of this. What if we do this? What would it take for us to do that? And people having the absolute safety to go, I've messed up, I've made a mistake, we need to fix it now. I think we can do this to solve it. Because if we don't have those types of organisations, it doesn't matter how many percentages we have of what gender within our organisations. Doesn't matter how many people that we have employed across what ethnicity. If I respect and trust at myself, and I look for that respect and trust in each of the person and people that are within my team, then I'm a very strong way towards creating diversity within what I'm doing. And I think it's a hot topic. It definitely is a hot topic, and I don't think that many organizations have found the answer. However, the fact that it's a hot topic is a good thing, because 30, 40 years ago, we never really talked about it. I'm from New Zealand. I'm a Kiwi from New Zealand, and so I have been brought up in my sort of more formative years and teenage and adult years in bicultural partnership with Māori, our Indigenous people. And I think that is wonderful, because I have this massive affiliation to go and talk to anybody. I don't care what colour their skin are. I don't care where they've come from. And I love that. I love that. That's part of me. And I think we need to be real and go, that's just an outside. Who cares? What's the person on the inside? Who are they being? What's their attitude? What's their values? What's their thinking modes? How can we work together and create even more magic together? And I think when we come from that side of things, I think we create more diversity of people, thought, strength, richness within our organization.
Yeah, very fascinating response. And it kind of reminded me because there was a recent here in the States, they've had affirmative action for, I mean, for God knows how long. And one of the criticisms of the program was that basically they were it was basically tried to equal opportunities for underrepresented, and it was basically a bunch of rich races paying to get their kids in. So there wasn't really any diversity. It was just the same thoughts, it's just different skin color. So but the other question I have for you is especially in the workplace, now we've got remote work, we have entrepreneurs, a lot of Gen Z, they don't want to work for corporations. They're sick of corporations. They go out and start their own companies or do their own thing. So what is your role in this? Because, is leadership facing a brain drain? Is just people just fed up with leadership? I mean, you can literally see what happened at the last presidential debate. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum. When I go and see somebody in the 21 and they go, I know all about leadership and how to have my team, and I've got this team and I'm making X amount of dollars per year. It was like, wow, go you. At 20, I was going, oh, what do I do with my life? I'm not sure. And so part of it is recognizing their amazing, unique skills, their amazing sort of ballsiness that they just will go, I'm going to do that and make it happen. And it was like, I take my hat off to many of them that are just like, yeah, we're going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to create this, and they become multi-million dollar companies of innovation. And that's fantastic. I think we need to celebrate that and not be scared of that. Around that, I was going to say, however, it's like a big but. It can create a little bit of challenge in relation to leadership, coaching, and training. It can become challenging. The thing that is a little bit challenging is sort of, and it keeps coming up in my mind, and we don't often talk about it. We do ourselves, Christine and I, in our one-on-one coaching when it comes up, and also our group trainings and things when it comes up. But it's that whole thing of ego. And the ego is there to keep us safe. So the ego sort of crops up and goes, you're amazing, you're fantastic. Or it goes, oh, well, hang on a minute, haven't come across this before. Come back. Don't go there, don't go there. It's too scary, it's too hard. And so our ego is there to help us keep us safe along the way. And it's usually done a really good job for everybody by the time we've gotten into our 30s and 40s. And within that, it's like, if I know who I be, then I'm aware of my ego when it crops up, when it jumps up, because ego wants to have competition. Ego wants to be the best. Ego wants to drive us. And we need some of that to some degree. Otherwise, we wouldn't probably get out of bed in the mornings. However, we also need that whole ability of regulation. We need to go, I'm talking with this person, I don't need to compete with them, I want to collaborate with them, I want to build a partnership with them, I want to work with them or alongside them, or or enhance their business and serve them, or they're going to serve us in relation to bringing their AI skills into our company, or whatever it is. And it's like, so that ego has no place. And so we can grab it and pop it on the shelf or put it in our back pocket. And when we recognize that, we are really stepping into our own authentic leadership and reclaiming our power, because ego isn't power. Ego is competition. Ego can pull us down. Ego can trip us up. Ego can hold us back. And I think the whole thing of working with people who are 17, 18, 20, 21s who are creating multi-million-dollar companies and fulfilling niche markets like never before in the last century, I think we can celebrate the good things that we can learn from them. We can always learn from every single person that we come across. And there are ways of coaching and training to go, okay, so you're doing all this. That's fantastic. That's the do. Who do you be? I was like, are you being consistent? Are you showing up? Are you listening to people? All of those things that are so important with leading companies, organizations, being an entrepreneur, exploding your business across the world.
How can people contact you and follow you and reach out to you?
Several ways. Our website, waltinstitute.com. So WALT is WALT, waltinstitute.com. They can also email me on elizabeth@waltinstitute.com. There are several tabs along the top. You can book a conversation through the website with myself or my business partner, Christine. You can find out about our one-on-one coaching packages. You can identify, we have an authentic leadership skills course that we do online, so we can do it anywhere in the world. We just have a time frame with a group of people. So if you want to do it with your organizations, we'll set up a time that works. We can work with people in basically any time zone. There's only one time zone that's a little bit tricky, but we work around that one anyway. So the US, the UK, anywhere, Asia, Australasia, we're your people. It's absolutely fantastic to do that. And we're very skilled at running workshops online, or you can bring us over to your organization. We can do them in person and have more deeper delve into 2, 3, 4 days of programs. With some of the best programs that we're doing at the moment are a mixture of workshops and one-on-one coaching with executives. So we come and do a series of workshops, and within them we're doing the one-on-one coaching with the group of people as well, and they're just exploding their authentic leadership skills, getting more promotions, getting more clients, increasing their revenue, less stress, all of those types of things that you really want in your own business.
And for all the audience out there listening, for coming on and sharing these very wonderful discussion, and be sure to give her socials a like and follow. And with that, thanks so much for coming on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.